Welcome into LTSN. Wednesday night basketball is finally back in the WAC after a lengthy delay. LTU and Aquinas from Don Riddler Fieldhouse. Jason Ross Jr. I'll be joined shortly by my good friend and partner Dylan Morello on the air tonight. Both of these squads playing their first conference game in late January. This most unusual of seasons takes another twist, but a positive one, as the first bucket of the night is down in the form of a three. That's Derek Murray drilling the tray in this dynamic backcourt for Aquinas, led by Jesse Hillis and Derek Murray. It's a powerful front court for Lawrence Tech. Gunnar Gustafson is at the forefront of it. Couldn't quite get his first shot attempt of the night to go down. This Aquinas team is shooting at a high clip from three-point range through one game this season, looking for three number two, and they find it. Back-to-back triples to kick off the game for the Saints. That was one of the concerns for Lawrence Tech entering this matchup, having allowed about 38% from three-point range when looking at opponent percentage so far through just 3 games this year on the Lawrence Tech side. Blue Devils are off to a 2-1 start, whereas Aquinas has played just 1 game this year. That was a blowout loss to Bethel University. However, the Pilots are the number 19 ranked team in the country. And early in this one, Lawrence Tech is a bit shell-shocked. It's a quick 8-0 start for the Saints. This is Brandon Beavers, the much-improved point guard for Lawrence Tech. Isaiah Cumberland, so quick off the dribble, finally able to stem the tide with a chance to go to the line for 2 here. Again, the Blue Devils off to a 2-1 start under their head coach Josh Pickens. This is their first game since November 10th as Cumberland comes up short on the first free throw. They lost on this floor to Huntington University 96-68. A little over 2 months off since then. They've only been practicing for a shade under a week. As Cumberland goes 0 for 2, the rust is something they're trying to shake off in the early stages here as Lawrence Tech is yet to break the scoring seal. Aquinas nailed 9 triples in their loss to Bethel. They've already hit 2. A step back for Murray. Flying in for the offensive board is Justin Larry. Head coach Josh Pickens won't be happy with that one. Hillis, no, but a third chance. Finally, an over-the-back foul will allow for Lawrence Tech to get the basketball back. But Josh Pickens very unhappy with this start. Alec Ivanovic, the only senior on the roster for Lawrence Tech. However, it is, despite that, still a relatively experienced group. They're young from an age standpoint, but a lot of these guys had a lot of minutes a season ago. Sophomore Brandon Beavers on the floor right now. Sophomore and Gunnar Gustafson. The sophomore class plays a key role. Carter France is a junior. He's on the floor right now as Beavers, right on cue, nails the three. And finally, Lawrence Tech is on the board.
Well, good to be back with you today, Jason, back at the Don Riddler Fieldhouse. It's been quite a while since we've been here. November 10th, the last game. But a good start overall. Not the one you look for the Blue Devils, but for the Saints, another rebound there.
That was a clean block from Gustafson, but then the stick back is down from Brandon Sysom. As you mentioned, Dylan, so good to just have it back. When you talk to a lot of coaches around the country this year, the word grateful is oftentimes in their vocabularies. And when you take almost 80 days off, you're certainly grateful. Aquinas is grateful for their offensive rebounding in the early stages. Leads to a wide open jumper. That came up short from Tevin Ali.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Jason, about being grateful for the opportunity, but also really just not squandering it. You know, as you mentioned, a lot of time off for both these squads. Aquinas, they did get a game in. This will be L2's first. Aquinas, they dropped their last one by 35 points. But today looking to get back at it, and they have that energy. Blue Devils really, it's a matter of just shaking off that rust. It may not be nerves, just a little bit of rust, conditioning at this point. But once we get to the latter stage of this game, I think the legs will be back under them, and they should be fine going forward.
After the quick timeout, it's a 10-3 start for Aquinas. They got off to an 8-0 start to begin this one here at the Riddler. The Saints have won the last 5 meetings with the Blue Devils. Aquinas currently up 10-3. Gustafson denied in the post, winning that matchup in the early stages. It was an interesting one heading into this one as Gabe Overway calling for it once again against Gustafson, but they opt to kick it out. Three just grazes the rim from Larry, a 6'5" guard from Caledonia, Michigan.
Yeah, right now in the early stages, Aquinas really just winning those little battles. They really count. You see another rebound control there beautifully.
That was an interesting perspective coming into this game as Gustafson comes up with the rejection. Both sides are relatively small. Gustafson at about 6'7" down low. Overway matches him at 6'6", but rather than that, a lot of guard play on either side. Gustafson is the only true back-to-the-basket player for Lawrence Tech as he barrels his way into the chest of Larry, and we get a blocking foul down low.
That's the type of energy and compete level, though, you really want to see from the Blue Devils, especially in the early going. They got behind the 8-ball a little bit, but just that extra effort, it really could pay dividends. As it's been a while, so you're going to give the players a benefit of the doubt, but they've been at it. They've been doing it for quite some time.
Yeah, one thing Josh Pickens mentioned yesterday is that despite the time off, as France's pretty fadeaway jumper is a bit strong, he said despite the time off, everyone's gone through it. So it's just a matter of trying to now discover yourself in this new year. Almost feels like a second season. Another three opens up. Aquinas isn't afraid to take them early, and they're getting the long rebounds. A third chance. This isn't the first time Aquinas has had a third chance in the glass. Gustafson isn't on the floor right now for Lawrence Tech. Again, he's their tallest player. At the moment, that's Isaiah Cumberland at about 6'5". Gustafson getting set to check back in here along with Beavers, the two starters. France and Sana Sisawa check out.
Aquinas doing a great job right now just controlling the tempo of the game, the pace. You saw there Hills really just stood at the top, was directing his players, calling out a play, and they get the ball right back. Blue Devils haven't had too much possession time right now.
Aquinas can do it in the half-court set and the transition game. And they love their three-point shots. So far, they've nailed a couple of them. It's a 10-3 start for the Saints. Beavers ran into trouble. Ivanovic is the one who usually gets them out of trouble as their only senior. And we get a foul on the screen, I believe. So this will head back the other way.
It's one of those plays there, too, you really don't like seeing, giving the ball right back to the Saints without even inflicting some damage.
Larry was called for the foul after a tough try, a bit of a frustration foul there. Out of the junior from Caledonia, 6'5", from East Kentwood High School. Had 2 threes in their season opener against Bethel. Again, that was a 109-74 loss for Aquinas, but Bethel is one of the better teams in the country. And you knew these Saints would want to come back with a vengeance after that tough loss the other night. The jam didn't quite go down from Sysom, and back come the Blue Devils. This is Gustafson still looking for his first points. Gustafson is a player who the Blue Devils believe could, if he isn't already, become one of the best, if not the best, big man in the modern era of this program. Right now, you're not quite seeing him up to his potential. There's another offensive rebound as Ballard did well to follow his miss. And these are the breakdowns, Dylan, that you see when returning after a lengthy delay like this, where the energy and the crispness just isn't quite there from a fundamental standpoint, such as boxing out.
No, yeah, especially. I mean, you kind of expected it to be a little bit sloppy, a little bit discombobulated, but I feel like through time and especially through the practice reps, we've been seeing them practice every day, get out here on the court. It's going to come back to them. I mean, they've been playing this sport for quite some time, all these players. They're here for a reason. And I just think, once again, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's just that rust you got to shake off. And you really, as the coaching staff, you don't want it to last too long, but you do expect it, especially here in the first quarter.
10:53 to go in the opening half of play. It's a 12-9 start for Aquinas. Blue Devils have all 9 of their points by way of the three. Gotcha. Okay. Welcome back into LTSN. Aquinas off to a 12-9 start. We'll keep you posted on the score while we work on our graphic for you. All 9 of Lawrence Tech's points have come by way of the three-point shot.
And once again, that three-point percentage for Aquinas not happening. The Blue Devils doing a good job of getting up in the face of the Saints. And right there, Franz, again, he tried that three, and the Saints do it the other way. So back and forth action. I think it's just going to come down, as you mentioned, Jason, a couple of individual players getting the points for the Blue Devils, and it might take that extra effort from a couple of the other supporting players. But nonetheless, it's going to be back and forth bout for sure.
That's what we've come to expect out of these two teams. Their last clash on this floor was an 81-74 overtime win for Aquinas. Both of these squads never really found the consistency that they would have liked to last season. Aquinas finished 9th in the WAC a year ago. Lawrence Tech finished 10th. Neither team had a winning streak of longer than 2 games in conference play a season ago.
Yeah, and that's tough, too, when you come into this season and really only playing 3 games, having the delay. When you want to build off of last season, try to improve, it kind of stymies, the game plan that you had coming into this year. But I just love the versatility of both the players and the coaching staff. And you've seen it throughout all L2 athletics, just the way people take adversity and, try to deal with it in whatever way they can. It's been good to see.
That's true. It's great to see everyone back. The women's team, as France fires from 3, is back after 80 days off tonight. Coach Grace Howrigan and her crew. Again, Josh Pickens, the men's coach for Lawrence Tech, he told us yesterday that his group had about 77 days off, something around there. They've had only a little under a week of practice, got back in the gym last Wednesday night, and now it's game time this Wednesday night. We have a foul called on Aquinas.
It's one of those things, too. You look at the players during that time off, especially I know some players send out workout programs to each other, got in the gym whatever way they can. A couple of my teammates personally have the home gym and everything. Just try to stay in shape, even with it's not the whole team. Just do the work outside of the court and in the locker room, and you'll be able to at least keep up to pace with what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, and one other thing Josh Pickens said was that he was so grateful for the relatively experienced group that he has this season. The lone senior, Alec Ivanovic, is on the floor, and he really took charge of letting guys know what they need to be doing here and how to approach us when we're not playing. And Coach Pickens even said that sometimes Alec is telling us what we need to be doing. He's just that much of a coach on the floor.
Now, yeah, you need people, especially in these tough times, to step up and be leaders. And you love to see it, especially from the veterans within your squad. And as you mentioned before, a couple sophomores on this team as well, being examples to the players and leading on the court. And that's also great to see. So all around, it's a collective effort. And now we're here, and now we're playing ball. And it's time to get back to business. Blue Devils trying to work on a couple of things.
That's Jared Dagner knocking down the J. Aquinas up 14-9, 8:23 to go in this opening half. Cumberland lost it. Sissewa saved it.
You mentioned how Aquinas last game gave up over 100 points. That was their first one. They scored 74, but it looks like throughout this one might be a low-scoring match. And that's once again just that time off, not being able to shots all too often, as the Blue Devils can't put that one away either. So not too high of a percentage shooting from the three-point line already.
And Lawrence Tech off to just a 3 of 15 start from the field right now. 3 of 8 from deep. 3 of their field goals have come from long range, as one goes down for Justin Larry. He had 2 triples, and the season-opening loss to Bethel extends the Aquinas lead to 8, which matches their largest of the game. Cumberland answers right back. The junior guard who has taken a big stride in the offseason, averaging a career-high 11 points per game. Head coach Josh Pickens said, "We still feel he has a lot more room to grow," but they're incredibly proud of where he's come from when it goes from freshman to now junior year. Sissewa, that hasn't been a part of his game in the past, but far more confident from three-point range now.
It's one of those things, too, by the Blue Devils, that quick strike offense. Usually in mid-season form, they will put those ones away pretty easily.
Yeah, this is more the tempo we expected here. Fast pace. Speaking of fast pace, Beavers tried to throw it down. I think it hopped off the iron and then dropped in for him. He's a lightning quick guard out of Columbus, Ohio.
And like I mentioned before, it's about taking what the game gives you. And right now the Blue Devils are really just taking it, driving it hard to the hoop. And that's where they're getting consistent points. So I expect them to keep at it so far.
Ryan's knocking down the 17-footer. One other thing Josh Pickens said the other day was that when his group is playing as a 5-man unit, which they are right now, that's when the offense is at its best. Cumberland couldn't vacuum in the board. Hops into the hands of the Saints. This does appear to be a much improved Aquinas team, though, from a year ago. They had a big loss in the offseason. Davion Benson, who led the team in scoring a season ago, opted to redshirt as the kiss off the glass goes down that time. Trevor Ballard finding another bucket. Lead is back up to 8, the largest of the night for Aquinas. 5:26 to play in the opening half. It's been a back-and-forth affair so far here at the Riddler. You're watching LTU men's basketball on the home for Lawrence Tech Athletics. Welcome back into LTSN. Alec Ivanovic out on the floor with Brandon Beavers in the Blue Devil backcourt. Gunnar Gustafson down low as well. The drive from Cumberland is a successful one. We can see early on Isaiah Cumberland's minutes are up. Shamar Matthews, the freshman, guarding Daniel Bibbs, fellow freshman, and a 3 drops down. It's a hot start for Justin Larry.
Yeah, and it all started, too, by the quick feet and quick movement by the Saints, being able to make 3 consecutive passes, especially getting it out to the top fast and furious.
Matthews, long 2, goes down for the freshman.
Nice stutter step play there, just allowing himself to get the time and space he needs to put that one away.
Any depth that Josh Pickens can find on this Blue Devil team is certainly valuable. That was one of his areas of concern entering this game, was how much production could they get outside of their top 6 players. As the foul is called, believe they got Ivanovic. Larry has been a threat so far offensively for the Saints as expected. He has 6 points now. Trevor Ballard leading all scorers with 10.
And you mentioned that depth, Jason, especially early on in this restart of the season. You know, not a lot of players are up to par condition-wise, so you're going to need some of your bench players to come in, allow everybody else, the top 6, to get breathers. And when they do go in, you expect them to score and put up points. And really, that's just a testament to the depth of this team has. And you saw right there a couple of nice plays.
Matthews had what appeared to be a nice hesitation move, but was called for a travel. And Josh Pickens noted last night in practice they really tried to work on skipping the ball around quickly. We knew transition defense would be key in this one for the Blue Devils. Didn't know how important the three-point, or I should say perimeter defense would be. But Aquinas has knocked down 4 triples. They hit 9 in their loss to Bethel. It's a 24-17 Aquinas lead with 3:46 to play in the opening half.
Great defensive play there in the last couple of seconds by Beavers. Able to drive them outside. Saints, though, holding on to it.
Jesse Hillis, the dynamic guard, fires from 3 off the mark. Beavers flying the other way. You have to have your head on a swivel when you're in transition defense against Lawrence Tech as well. Hillis led all Aquinas scorers against Bethel with 22 points. Comes up short there, off to a relatively slow start.
Two beautiful rebounds there by Matthews, and he was the one that led the play with that quick up pass in the prior points by the Blue Devils. He's been playing pretty well these last 5 minutes.
This is one of the matchups we were looking at, Overlay versus Gustafson. That time the sophomore gunner Gustafson held his ground. Ivanovic was fouled from 3. Well, Alec Ivanovic has such a versatile role this season. They utilize him on the perimeter and in the post. When Gustafson isn't on the floor, they'll typically put him at the 5 this season. He's about 6'6", so they can do that with him. These are just his first free throw attempts of the season. Doesn't get into the lane a lot. He was fouled from 3-point range. Second free throw is down to cut it to a 4-point lead for Aquinas, 24-20, with 2:34 to go in the opening half. Saints jumped out to an 8-0 lead. Lawrence Tech really struggled in the early stages on the glass as Ivanovic goes just 1 for 3, but makes it a 2-possession game. A pirouette in the paint. It was a beautiful move. That time is putting the finishing touches on it is Tevin Ali, the 6'6" junior and transfer from Lansing Community College. He's an asset for them defensively. You see he's guarding Beavers right now. Cumberland's hop step and the short range push shot came up short, but a foul.
Nice job on the last 2 plays, drawing fouls by the Blue Devils, trying to get those extra points where they can. Only down by 6 now. Minute 47 left.
Lawrence Tech just 1 of 5 at the line so far as they get that one to drop. Cumberland in particular, Dylan, is a much improved free throw shooter this season. He was shooting free throws at about a 59% clip a season ago. He nailed 11 of his first 12 this season as he goes 2 for 2 there. That was something he worked on in the offseason because when you're that athletic, you're going to get to the rim.
Oh, no, for sure. And that was one of the big things moving forward, especially in this year, like you mentioned, that he worked on. And you love to see that extra effort put in by players outside of the slotted practice times. And you see him, even when I would just come in and look in the gym some days, he'll be out there by himself shooting those free throws, practicing with a couple of his teammates. And that extra effort is what might make or break some games. And you saw him drop 2 right there.
I think most people in the building thought that Hillis traveled there, and that's when you might have the ball don't lie tweets come out after the J came up well short. Jesse Hillis has struggled in the first half of this game. Beavers climbs his way to the rim, couldn't back come the Saints, up 26-22. Foul called on the perimeter prior to the drive. Carter France, the junior point guard for Lawrence Tech, getting set to check back in out of Dansville, Michigan. 62 seconds to play in this opening half, 26-22. Aquinas lead. Hillis against Beavers opted to kick it out, then slithering his way to the rim went Daniel Bibbs, but couldn't quite finish. Bibbs in transition this time. Lovely move and a finish.
And that's a tough play, especially when you're trying to get that 3 just right off the rim, especially in that place that bounces out far, and the quick break by the Saints. As time winding down here, Blue Devils might just hold on to it until they could get one last shot away.
Very slim difference between shot clock and game clock. 7 seconds to work with on the shot clock for LTU. Cumberland has to put up a tough shot that couldn't quite go down. And that'll wrap up the opening half of play. 28-22 after 20 minutes here at Don Riddler Fieldhouse. Aquinas shot a shade under 30% in the first half, yet they still lead by 6. We'll step aside. You're watching Lawrence Tech Sports Network, the home for Blue Devil Athletics. Welcome back into LTSN. It's an 8-point advantage for Aquinas after the first half. Saints shot about 32% through the first 20 minutes. Carter France still trying to get going. Couldn't quite find it at the rim. The junior guard from Dansville, and Aquinas pushes and converts at the other end.
Yeah, Blue Devils want to get off to a good start this second half. The Saints, though, are able to turn it up court pretty fast and get their first points of the second. As Franz tries to drop that one, and that one off the rim.
Aquinas quickly looking up the other way. Lawrence Tech head coach Josh Pickens told us yesterday that transition defense would be key because once again, you see there, the Saints like to fire early and often in the shot clock.
Yeah, just the fact of backtracking through the middle of the court, picking up your guy, even if you're coming back late, still moving your feet and getting up there because you never know what could happen as Blue Devils draw a foul there.
That was a beautiful cut and finish from Isaiah Cumberland. Lawrence Tech worked a lot on ball movement in practice yesterday and really over the past short week of practice. If you're just joining us, there were about 77 or so days off between their last game on November 10th. That was a 20-point loss to Huntington, and actually getting back out onto the floor after the pause. They got back in the gym last Wednesday night, and since then, it's been a quick preparation for this Aquinas matchup. Cumberland couldn't quite convert on the three-point play, but makes it a 6-point game.
I like how the Blue Devils, though, towards the end of that first half, really rebounded. You saw in the beginning they went down by 8, the biggest margin that they faced here tonight, but slowly whittling away at it. Good defensive play there to read that pass.
9 on the shot clock. That is the 5th triple of the night for the Saints. Justin Larry's seconds. The junior from Caledonia, Michigan, knocks down another.
Yeah, Larry just had way too much time and space there to be able to pull that trigger as the Blue Devils drop that one in. But definitely have to improve on that, guard him a little bit tighter as he's been able to put down a couple of his own.
Some beautiful off-ball movement has led to both buckets for Lawrence Tech. Here's another quick three, and it goes down for Jesse Hillis, who was at the top of Lawrence Tech head coach Lawrence Tech head coach Tungate's list of priorities heading into this one.
Yeah, he's been all over the court here tonight, especially there, that good rebound, that quick pass up. And it allows the Saints to get moving pretty fast. Trying to catch the Blue Devils off guard. Good snag and pull down there.
Gustafson right back to work in the post, dribbled it off his knee. Gustafson having a struggling night, just 0 for 6 from the field. 3 rebounds for the sophomore, averaging about 13 points per game. You see the quick ball movement on display from Aquinas. Don't believe that touched the rim, so a shot clock violation. This is the largest lead of the night right now for Aquinas at 10.
Good defense all around there in that last little play by the Blue Devils, keeping the Saints to the outside, even though they had those quick passes moving back and forth, getting players giving goes.
Another backdoor cut and another finish, this time Carter France on the end of it for 2 more.
Oh yeah, beautiful play there by the Blue Devils. A lot of space in that backcourt area. Franz was able to just find the soft spot, weed his way through, and he really had a clear-cut lane to the hoop.
At the other end, a quick answer from Gabe Overway, my apologies. Able to get that to drop in the paint. He's won that matchup so far today against Gustafson. Sissewa, rare triple goes down. It's become a more prominent part of his game of late. LTU cuts it down to 7 with 16:04 to go in this second half of play. Work. Aquinas with a 7-point lead in the second half of play. The Saints have won the last 5 meetings against Lawrence Tech. Dating back to 2017, but the last matchup between these sides did go to overtime on this floor. A clean drive to the rim, to say the least there, from Tevin Ali, the newcomer to the Saints roster, just his second game in an Aquinas uniform. And then it's picked off by Hillis. Ali one-on-one against Cumberland, who tries to take a charge. Ali bullied his way to the rim, couldn't finish. Saints will reload. Ali thought about a 3, takes a long 2 instead, and hits.
Great little succession there by Ali as he was able to move in and kind of whittle his way through the Blue Devil defense. Not a lot of pressure going, as you saw their last basket too, really uncontested. That's not what you want to see here.
Sissewa looking for 3, number 2. That's well short. And back on the note of Ali, 6'6", forward out of Lansing, Michigan. He's a newcomer to this roster after transferring from Lansing Community College. Defensively, certainly an asset for them, but as we saw, offensively, he is too. And perhaps all the more important in a season where Davion Benton, who led the team in scoring last season, opted to redshirt. So he fills a major void for them if he can make an imprint on the stat sheet this season. A bullet pass down low. Ali to Ballard. And the lead is at its largest for Aquinas, 13.
No, yeah, he's really all over the Blue Devils in this second half, as we just gave him high praise, but he's really one of those sneaky but deadly players. You really don't see him. He stands on the outside, and once he finds that ball, though, you saw how quickly it was off his hands and into the hands of his own teammate for the basket, and that's beautiful.
It is a fluid Aquinas offense. Lawrence Tech in desperate need to stop this run and get on the board. Still plenty of time to go, 14 minutes left. And defensively, Aquinas is certainly making it tougher on Lawrence Tech.
No, for sure. And you look at their loss, they gave up that 101 points. But really, they're just a strong all-around team, very committed to their game plan, not straying from it, as you see another failed pass attempt there by the Blue Devils. Well, they have 12 seconds left here on the shot clock.
Lawrence Tech being outscored 16-9 through the first 5 minutes and change of this second half. Beavers, can he find a much-needed bucket? He can. When you need some points, you probably go to Brandon Beavers in this offense this year. Averaging 17 points per game to lead the team, in addition to his 8 rebounds that leads the team and 6 assists. Such a versatile player, they'll need him to come up big in this second half if they do want to cut into this deficit. It's a 44-34 Aquinas lead, 6 minutes into the second half of play on LTSN. Back at Don Riddler Fieldhouse, Aquinas trying to extend what's been a pretty good start to this second half of play. They jumped out to an 8-0 lead early in the first half. Once again, hot out of the gates. Hillis guarded by Cumberland, and Hillis wins that round.
Yeah, that's tough. When Hillis gets the motor going, he's really not going to be denied, and you saw Cumberland all over him, still finding a way to get that basket in as the Blue Devils now trying to get one of their own, having some trouble.
Open three in the corner. Strong. Jesse Hillis has it back after a 1-for-6 start. He's nailed his last 2 shots. Quick transition three. Have to watch out for that against this Aquinas team. And the long rebounds, which typically favor the offensive team, have certainly done that tonight.
Aquinas, especially on their rebounds, they're just flicking it right back up to their high players right away, not really grabbing it and settling it down. And that quick movement of the ball from low to high really makes the Blue Devils have to turn around, get tripped up in their own defensive posture. And it's allowing the Saints to get that time and space needed to put in some points.
The Saints have 11 offensive rebounds today. Lawrence Tech has 1.
Yep, and that's the difference that can make or break a game, really. 11-1, that's could be at least 20 points right there.
10-point game after the Cumberland layup, and the LTU bench is up, trying to spark some energy. You wonder where the conditioning is right now. Final 12 minutes or so of the second half after not having played a full game 5-on-5 against another opponent since November 10th for Lawrence Tech. Aquinas did play a few days ago against Bethel, so they perhaps have the game advantage there. Pull-up jumper. It's a 3, and it's down for Brandon Beavers. And it's back to a single-digit game. 11:49 to go in the second half. 7 points is what separates the Saints and the Blue Devils on LTSN. Welcome back into LTSN. 7-point lead for Aquinas after Brandon Beavers knocked down the 3 prior to the break. Lawrence Tech is trailed by as much as 13. Lovely footwork. Overly might have had a look at it, opted to kick it out. Hillis pushed off. We're going the other way.
Nice break there for the Blue Devils as their sideline gets pumped up, and still a lot of time, a lot to work with here. They really just have to reach into their bag of tools and try to pull out something. And it starts right now with this possession.
Sisawa gets all the way to the rim and draws a foul. A 6'4" guard from Oak Park. Lawrence Tech head coach Josh Pickens said yesterday, it's just really cool to see him start to turn the corner, both offensively and defensively. His minutes have gradually increased since freshman year. Hasn't made a big impact on the box score through 3 games, but they feel there's a lot of potential for him to do some special things this season. Right now, what's most important is that he just cut this to a 6-point game after it felt like just a minute ago Lawrence Tech was down 13. Two for 2 at the line for Sissewa. He's kind of their first player off the bench. Shamar Matthews, the freshman, who they like defensively, is also in the game at the moment. So Lawrence Tech dipping into their bench a bit. We'll see how tightly Matthews guards. A bit over-aggressive that time.
Yeah, it looks to be a little bit shaken up there. Seemed like both of their legs kind of got entangled. Good to see him get back up quick, but he has been a dog on raw meat in the defensive end of the court for the Blue Devils so far, as he'll check out.
Brandon Beavers comes in for Matthews. The Blue Devils leading scorer. Gustafson, the rejection at the rim. Here's his fellow sophomore, Brandon Beavers. Aquinas did well to get back in transition. Cumberland drives, blocked that time. On the end of the rejection was Larry. Two-possession game. Aquinas led by 13 at one point in this half. Here's the freshman Colton Nelson out of Sacred Heart High School, who only played 3 minutes in his college debut. He'll head to the line here.
Yeah, Nelson's been in a little bit more this game, trying to increase his minutes gradually. And he's been showing his skill and compete level as well, as you saw in that last play, drawing that foul. Pretty straight up free throw there too. Nothing to it.
You mentioned these are relatively young teams. Aquinas has a couple of seniors. Nelson's a freshman. Lawrence Tech has one senior on the roster, Ivanovic, but he still has a year of eligibility left, thanks to the NAIA rules this year, granting everyone a year extra of eligibility. Beavers, he's going to continue to grow as long as he stays at Lawrence Tech. Cuts the Aquinas lead down to 5 once again.
Blue Devils yet to have a lead in this game. Hopefully to get to the defensive stop here and try to work on getting that lead, playing ahead.
Contested 3 from Nelson is long. Beavers pushing. Couldn't finish. Sissewa called for the foul. Aquinas isn't afraid to take the threes, and oftentimes those long rebounds have favored them, but you also wonder if the quick shots start to hurt you when you're up by this amount, because Lawrence Tech can really push in transition if the Blue Devils do get the rebounds.
Yeah, especially now, it's going to kind of be a little bit difficult transitioning from their game plan of that quick movement, quick offense mentality. But especially this late in the game, you're going to want to try to whittle the time away, not let the Blue Devils have too much, but still try to gain that lead. As that another 3. That one off the rim as well. Good rebound control there by the Blue Devils.
That was the 21st three-point attempt of the night for the Saints. They've hit 6 of them. Again, jumped out to an 8-point lead, did the Saints. This Lawrence Tech team was resilient a year ago. However, finished 10-17 on the season. Aquinas was 10-20. Both teams looking for bounce-back years. Aquinas finished 9th in the conference a year ago. LTU was 10th. So the goal is certainly to do better in conference play this season. This is the first conference matchup for both sides, coming on January 27th. So it's just so unusual in so many ways. By this time, in a normal year, you'd be pretty deep into the schedule, as Beavers is fouled and counted in a bucket here. He'll go to the line for one more.
Great job there capitalizing on that missed three-point attempt by the Saints as they tried it once again from up high and once again off the rim right into the Blue Devils' hands. And great job getting the points and trying to add on some more.
All of a sudden, it's a three-point game. Dylan, you and I were just saying a few minutes ago we wondered how Lawrence Tech's conditioning would be in these stages, but evidently they found an extra gear.
No, yeah, that's perfect, too. The Saints right there, just kind of lackadaisical. These last, really, that's all it took. 3 minutes, the last 3 minutes, the Blue Devils have crawled their way back into the game. You mentioned it was the highest lead the Saints had at that one point with 12. And now it's down to one possession, and that's exactly where the Blue Devils want to be. If they could get this defensive stop and then go back on offense and try to regain the lead.
This is a slower pace than Aquinas likes to work at. They look a bit flummoxed right now. Stripped away, a steal. And now Carter France, the point guard who is much calmer this year, in the words of his head coach Josh Pickens, will set things up.
Yeah, once you take away the legs of the Saints and make them slow down their pace, that's when you really get a great chance, and that one goes in, tie game.
That's Gustafson's first bucket of the night. The sophomore who averages 13 points per game started this game 0 for 6. His first 2 points of the night once again make it a tie game. LTU trailed by 13 at one point in this half. They've clawed their way back. Fun finish coming your way on LTSN. .7:25 to go in the second half. Knotted up at 48 apiece. If you're a basketball fan on a Wednesday night, this is what you love. Hillis out on the floor in that backcourt with Ballard and Gabe Overway. A fun matchup with Gunnar Gustafson tonight. They go right down to it here. And we get a travel.
And that's the break the Blue Devils needed to get back up the court fast, back on offense. And it's going to be very, very tricky now, playing with a tie match, trying to gain the lead for the first time in this match.
Extra feed, France for three. Couldn't haul it in. Gustafson fighting for the board, and it'll stay with Lawrence Tech.
You see Gustafson there after he got his first points of the night. That slight advantage in confidence, that little boost that he needed. He's going to be needed big these last 6:56 of the game.
At 6'7", oftentimes he's the tallest player out on the floor. And he has so much potential to do some great things this season. Struggling tonight in an unusual fashion, just 1 of 7 from the field. Was 0 of 6 up until that bucket that tied the game. 5 rebounds, though. He'll certainly be on the floor for the majority of this final 6 minutes and 56 seconds. Again, the Saints have won the last 5 meetings with LTU.
You see the Blue Devils' energy and legs now paying dividends, especially in the offensive zone. They're moving more, kind of taking a page out of Aquinas' playbook.
Sissewa wanted a second three tonight. Instead, the board goes to Aquinas and Jesse Hillis on over to Colton Nelson. Freshman playing some key minutes down the final stretch here. And this might go the other way, so another turnover on the part of Gabe Overway, who had played so well up until these final possessions. He was called for a travel on the previous possession, and then they're a bit over-aggressive trying to find his post position. So all of a sudden, Lawrence Tech has made Aquinas a bit uncomfortable on multiple layers.
Yeah, and you really need to take advantage of it, though. No points in that last turnover by Aquinas. And there again, good rebound control there.
This will stay with Lawrence Tech as Brandon Beavers gets set to check back in. Sissewa heads out. And the last time these two teams played here, it was an overtime win for Aquinas. As Dylan mentioned, Lawrence Tech hasn't led all night. They've trailed by as much as 13 in this half.
Definitely don't want to stop the pace that they're playing at. This pause, though, could be good for the Saints as you see them catching their breath. Hands on the hips, breathing a little bit heavy now, and like we mentioned in the forefront of this match, just the conditioning, shaking off the rust, how both teams would fare. Really, like we're seeing now in the final 6 minutes of the game, and the Blue Devils seem to have that extra pep in their step.
France, catch and shoot, got it to go! Carter France, the junior who has a Steve Nash-like quality to his game, drills the three and gives LTU their very first lead of the night. Overway with the size advantage on Beavers. They got the switch they wanted, and now a chance to tie the game right back up at the free throw line.
You expected that, especially with the Saints giving up their first lead of the match. And as we mentioned before, Jason, I think you said it's going to be a battle to the finish. And you would expect nothing less from these two teams who last game went to overtime between the two.
What feels kind of odd, that was just their third free throw attempts of the night on the Aquinas side. We've seen them stay on the perimeter for the most part, but just 3 free throw attempts all game. Overway came up short, so still a 1-point game. Back-to-back threes for Lawrence Tech. That time it's the senior they call Old Man Al. Cooking it up from three-point range there, and LTU has their largest lead of the game at 4. Jesse Hillis, who led all Aquinas scores with 22 against Bethel, gets fouled.
Hillis has been quiet the last 6 minutes or so. And right there, trying to get that extra boost of energy here to finish out the game. He was driving hard to the hoop.
And just 2 of 10 from the field on the day. These are his first free throw attempts of the night. .38% three-point shooter a season ago, and he wasn't afraid to pull the trigger either. Took a little over 100 threes. Hit 2 in that season-opening loss to Bethel, and that one hangs on the rim for a while until finally falling off. So a 3-point game. France had to double clutch a bit. This will stay with Lawrence Tech.
Yeah, France had a lot of hands and bodies right in his forefront, in the foreground of that shot. Made him miss just by a fraction there. But nonetheless, the Blue Devils regained the possession.
Nice cut and a slam from Gustafson. Beautiful off-ball movement leads to 2 more for LTU.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see. As I said there, you could just tell from the way he was playing, the posture, and just the way he carried himself after he got the first points of the game. Really now he's going to settle into himself.
Has 4 points, but maybe 4 of the most important points of the game for LTU. He tied it, and now he's given them what matches their largest lead of the night. Here he is once again. Same matchup, same result. The confidence is back for Gunnar Gustafson.
Yeah, and they're going to need him here in the latter stages of this one. The Saints doing a good job of blocking those long shots, and if the Blue Devils are going to be able to pass it in that tight area, make a move, good steal there, a little break.
2-on-1, Ivanovic to Beavers, and 1! What a turnaround of momentum in this game. The Blue Devils trailed by 13 at one point in this half. They are forcing turnovers, stymieing the Saints on defense, and capitalizing offensively.
Yeah, that's why you play the game right there, just the thrill of back and forth matchups, especially the first one after so long. The players had to have been, brimming to get on this, almost like a Christmas Eve type of feeling. And right now making the most of it as that free throw goes in.
It was certainly Christmas Eve for us, finally knowing we'd have some basketball back. The Blue Devils look pretty happy right now. They'll prance over to the bench. It's a 10-point lead for Lawrence Tech, 61-51, 3:26 to go in this second half of play. Welcome back into LTSN. 3:25 to go in this second half of play. Lawrence Tech currently owning their largest advantage of what's been a pretty fun night here at the Riddler. The three-point shot that was so successful in the first half for Aquinas has faded in the second.
Yeah, and that's that slight adjustment, too, that the coaching staff had to have made in between these halves in the locker room. And the Blue Devils came out, they executed it to a T, and that's why they have this big lead, 10 points. But as we saw before, the Saints had a 13-point lead, and they saw that fade away. So 10, even less, and the Blue Devils can't get lackadaisical with it. As they draw the foul there, but playing in front of the game, playing with the lead is way different than trying to force the issue and come back from one. And they're going to need all their assets here.
Sisowa knocks down the first free throw. Lawrence Tech shooting 44% in this game. They have really turned the Jets on at the right time in the second half. Might have another look at the clock here. We've had some stoppages over the past few minutes. Credit the Blue Devils for not letting that really disrupt their rhythm at all. And then defensively, we have to point out what LTU has done in this second half. At this point, you know, Aquinas has only scored 51 points. You look at Lawrence Tech's last matchup, albeit happening on November 10th, a little over 2 months ago. Lawrence Tech gave up 96 points to Huntington University. So a nice bounce back defensively from game to game here if LTU does go on to improve to 3-1.
Yeah, we mentioned in the beginning just the defensive style that both these teams play. You know, you would kind of think it would be more tight-knit, low scoring. As they're still trying to work on the clock here, but still, I just love the bounce back mentality, the comeback kids, if you will, and the Blue Devils have the weapons to do that.
If Lawrence Tech does hang on, it'll be back-to-back 3-1 starts. They began last season 3-1. Went on to finish 5-15 in conference play, though. The script has flipped on that overweight Gustafson matchup in the second half. Hillis drills the three. Game isn't over yet as Jesse Hillis makes it an 8-point game. Three as the shot clock was winding down from Carter France. Off the mark, and a big offensive possession coming up for Aquinas. It's a three. Short. Cumberland the board. A clean look that time. Could not drop for Trevor Ballard, who went 5 of 10 in that first half. He has 11 points to lead all Aquinas scores. Brandon Beavers leads all scorers in general with 24. That time Beavers found his fellow Columbus, Ohio native. He played at Harvest Prep High School with Isaiah Cumberland. Those two are both on the floor right now. Really good friends off the floor as well. They were able to get in the gym in Columbus, Ohio during times that were shut down here in Michigan. So Beavers and Cumberland spent quite a bit of time working out together and improving their games. Just under a minute to go now in this one. Aquinas down to their last breath. We got a timeout called by Aquinas head coach Ryan Bertoya with 49.3 to play in the second half on LTSN. Brandon Beavers back at the line for the front end of a 1-and-1. You can't say enough about what Brandon Beavers has done in the early stages of this season. 25 points tonight, averaging 17 once again through his first 4, which leads Lawrence Tech. He's now 5 of 5 at the free throw line. And he's done it in such an efficient fashion. 9 of 13 from the field, 4 of 6 from three-point range.
Good play there to get the free throws by the Saints as they went back to their bread and butter that they did and did so well in the first half of getting the ball down low and shooting a bullet of a pass back up high. And it opens up that space to make some plays.
Gabe Overway at the line. And to kind of revert back to the note of Beavers, something that his head coach Josh Pickens said about him is he's just such a hard worker, always in the lab working at his craft. He's a guy who wants to be a good basketball player. It's something that you can't really teach. You can try to ingrain it into the mindset of your players, but it's up to them to do the work, especially in a season where you haven't always been able to get in the gym with one another. And it looks like Beavers will go to the line once again here.
Yeah, got his shirt pulled on a little bit there. Maybe just trying to halt the clock a little bit, are the Saints. As they call another timeout.
30 seconds to play. We'll step aside on LTSN. Welcome back into LTSN. Just half a minute ago now, Lawrence Tech trying to close out a victory that would give them a 3-1 start. And they deserve some credit for this one. Trailed 8-0 to start the game. We're down 13 in the early stages of the second half. But this group that has much more experience this season has showed resiliency. Beavers has a year under his belt. So does Carter Francis on the floor right now. He has a couple of years under his belt. Gunnar Gustafson, young from a class standpoint, but experienced from a game experience standpoint. Alec Ivanovic is the coach on the floor. He's the only senior. Foul on the floor prior to the shot. But Dylan, something I noticed is that even when you have all this time off, 70-plus days, the mindset of not going away, that didn't leave LTU.
Oh, no, for sure. It's kind of like the riding the bike mentality is you're always going to have it no matter what. And just the Blue Devils really, as you just mentioned, the resiliency, finding a way to battle through it, especially getting down so early, getting behind the 8 ball so early, not being able to get those rebounds. You mentioned 11 of them offensively for the Saints in the beginning of that first half, and it really looked like it was going downhill, but just way to work by the Blue Devils, batting down the hatches, being able to battle through it. And you see here they have a pretty juicy lead with 18.8 seconds left, and that just is a testament to their hard work. They went out and earn that lead, earn this should be victory after that.
Beavers now the season high 28 points after those last couple of free throws. Aquinas will fall to 0-2 on the season, as Cumberland just gets set to put the icing on the cake here. And a player who has really improved at the free throw line this season. I take full responsibility for the announcer's jinx there.
No worries there as the Blue Devils will.
I don't think they'll be too upset with me after what should be an 8-point win, 67-59. The Blue Devils close it out. They were back in action tonight, and the adrenaline carried them through what was at one point a 13-point deficit. Well, it was fun bringing it to you right here on LTSN. Again, 67-59. Lawrence Tech closes things out. We'll have interviews coming up for you on the LTU Sports Report, which you can catch later this week on the various LTU social media channels. Saying so long for our wonderful crew, Elizabeth Kuhn, Sarah Davis, Alex Buckheim. For Dylan Morello, I'm Jason Ross Jr. Have a wonderful Wednesday night.